But I decided I wanted to do this tier list again because I've played a lot of games since 2019 to now, and I wanted to get like a firm opinion. I am gonna make a VOD of this, and part of the reason I felt motivated to even make a VOD of this is that people got super angry at my last tier list. I'm frankly surprised and a little like kind of disgusted at how people talked to me about fictional game characters, but people got really mad, and it actually kind of, I wouldn't say it hurt necessarily, it just made me angry. Because like if you look at this person, oh well, it's world trash tier list. This person's joking, they're like joking, they're like this whole list is an L. It's like some people are like not as serious. Like I could tell when they're joking, but then it's like there's like some crazy amount of like annoyance or whatever. So it made me basically want to make another tier list, because how else can I, like, you know, how else do I respond to people getting angry at me about my opinions about fictional video game characters? They're not real. They're not gonna, like, my opinions aren't gonna cut you like a knife and prevent you from sleeping or something. But I just think it's, like, bizarre. And then there's some people who actually watch the video and they give these, like, insightful responses, and it's kind of, like, nice. But it's just, like, it's just weird. So I decided, you know, I don't care. I want people to be mad then. If people are gonna just, instead of, like, watch the video and inform themselves, I'm gonna be as antagonistic as possible. Get mad! Yes, people make another. Yes, here to be mad again. I stopped listening to Alicia Keys for well, Cosmo. Some people want it all, but I don't want nothing at all, unless I got you, Cosmo. Okay, so I organized it by like thing. So it's all the Shin Megami Tensei, all the Digital Devil Saga, all 2 Digital Devil Saga. Let's start off with something easy. Ronde is very mediocre, so actually let me go ahead and do that again. So there's S, A, B, F, mid. Let me actually put mid above F, because this. Okay, so here's the new scale, because I need it to be very transparent. If you get anything from S to C, you are at least doing okay. D is where you're like a mediocre game that's like, you know, it's no better than any other game. It's not, but it's still better than most games outside of Megaten. Mid means you're exactly the same like level of play as like most games that are popular, but you're worse than Megaten games. F means it's actually bad. Oops. And then the final tier list under F, or the final one, is hate, meaning I strongly dislike it, and it's irredeemable for me. And then haven't played, self-explanatory. The only one that goes in haven't played is Gaiden Tensei. Literally never played it. I probably never will, because I don't know how. I have it. It's literally back there, but I just will never play it because I just don't know how to access it. It's funny how people can be so heated because you dislike their favorite character. Exactly. Hi, Celestine. You didn't miss it this time. So there's some things that I'm really confused about. Like, for instance, there's 2 Devil Summoners. I think one of them is probably like the PC version, or the PSP version. Hi, FF12 Kid. Robot. Yeah, I've played quite a bit of SMT5. No, I don't know. I guess I have to put it there too. Alright. So I'm just gonna randomly jump around and I'll talk about, like, I think it's fun because that's what I did last time, and I think that's very fun to do. We'll start off with Royal. So Royal is one of those games where it's an enhanced version of a game. Atlas has a very long history of enhancing their games, starting all the way back from the SNES era, where they enhanced Megami Tensei 1 and 2 and released it again with some minor changes. Um, it's a practice that I've been more and more against, actually. As time has progressed, I'm less inclined to be interested in the enhanced ports. A prime example would be something like Strange Journey Redux. The thing that makes Royal stand out is that Royal adds a whole nother semester, and that semester is supposed to quote unquote fix some problems narratively, but also it's supposed to add new things to do, which for the most part it just involves the two new characters, Maruki and Kasumi. Don't spoil the game if you guys have played it, because you guys know what I'm talking about if you played it. I will for sure say that the third semester is actually pretty nice. It's not bad. Some pretty quick things that have already been that Axel already pointed out. It doesn't fix Haru. Haru's main problem is she doesn't get enough like time to develop. She just exists. Part of her story arc that should introduce the character is cut down to show this stupid Morgana story arc. Hey Cheese, hey Kamikaze, how y'all doing? Legendary Yayu, sup? So another thing is that they added more content to Goro Akechi's story. I hate that new content. I don't even think it is good. It's just there. So if you wanted them to like give Goro more something, then there you go. They added a Goro Akechi thing. They added more a Goro Akechi thing. I think it's pretty BS. I don't like it because it doesn't do anything to enhance the game. It just gives people who already liked Goro more reason to like him because you get to see him longer. I think that's a detriment to the game because it could have literally done anything to improve some of the other story beats that are kind of lacking. Another thing is that the tone shifts completely once you get into the third semester. It's completely different tonally. I think that it's kind of bizarre, and they repeat a lot of information that you already kind of understood. So it's almost as if the third semester was like this weird afterthought, not unlike the answer where it doesn't necessarily mesh with the original content. And then you add to that they've simplified the gameplay and added these weird overlong things where they kind of prevent you from losing battles. So the battle system has been changed to be even less involved, so you're not really as engaged. And I think that that's a detriment to the game because it doesn't really help. The whole point of playing a game, especially a game like Persona 5, was that the battle system was fun. But they remove a lot of the fun by increasing the likelihood of those weird cutscenes where the characters do all this stuff. The characters run on autopilot for a large portion of the battle system. It's really, really boring if you're someone who wants to play the game. And then, add to that it was $60 when it could have just been DLC. I think that Persona 5 Royal is a bad game. Hey Simply Dad, how you doing? Alright. Now let's go to Persona PSP. So Persona PSP is literally just Persona, but the only real changes are the cutscenes added, there's voice acting. If you're playing it on the Western version, you could now play it. You could now play the other scenario, the Snow Queen scenario. The only detriment is the music, and I will literally say that the music does bring it down several notches for me. But the accessibility of Snow Queen Quest and the fact that I can play it on my PSP is good. I will say I do not think the Persona PSP music is bad. It just does not fit Persona 1 at all. It's okay music in its own, like in a vacuum, but I would never listen to it outside of the game, and I wouldn't ever want it in this game. If that music was added to like Persona 3 and they removed the music from Persona 3 there, I probably would have liked it, you know? So because of the music, which is the biggest detriment to the game, I gotta put it in like C. And I love Persona, not that one though. Maruki doesn't save the game for me. Maruki is kind of just like a thing that exists, you know? I don't think Maruki is important. I don't think that his character is good enough to carry the weight of like the replaying the game for the extra 10 hours or less of content. The new content from Royal is so small that it's like Really? It's really like 10 hours unless you patiently read every dialogue twice, and then it could be like a little longer, but there's not really a whole lot to do. All right. This is Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children Puzzle to Call. Puzzle to Call is literally just Puzzle Boy, but through the lens of Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children. It adds a little bit of like a narrative. There's a little bit of character dynamic and like some flavor to it that's literally exclusive to Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children. I like it, but I am dumb and I find puzzle games to be hard. This game, this game is a lot harder to me than the Puzzle Boy that was in Nocturne. Go figure. So I kind of like that. I do like that they tried to enhance the Puzzle Boy mechanics with this Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children like lens. It's not that superficial. It's pretty well integrated. So I'm gonna put it in C. It's not bad. It's worth playing. You don't even have to know Japanese to really enjoy it. But if you did know Japanese, it would be even better. Yes. No, Puzzle Boy is fun. I would recommend trying it. Okay, let's go to another game that's actually fun. Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey. It's no surprise that this is my favorite Shin Megami Tensei game of all time. I very much enjoy first-person dungeon crawlers, so I love this. I very much enjoy complex, intricate dungeons, so I love this. I love orchestral music, so I love this. This is one of the few Shoji Meguro soundtracks that I actually think is good. Some of the songs are really ill-fitting. The battle themes don't always make sense because they have that stupid long weird wait to like hype into the battle theme. For some reason, Meguro does that for a lot of battle themes. I wish he would learn from Ryota Kazuka or someone and learn to like just not do that, because he does that every time. He literally will like have this like 10 to 30 second build up and then get into the actual battle music while you're in the battle, but turns out most battles only last like 30 seconds, so like it's kind of irritating to only hear the beginning part of the battle. You should just get right into it. So that OST thing actually really bothers me, but aside from that, great music, great setting. One of the only games where the NPCs have really interesting like dialogue. The only other ones I can think of are Nocturne, Nocturne, SMT4, Raito. Like, yeah, bam, S tier, easy S tier, best mainline game, best game of the franchise for me. Now let's talk about a game that's not that good. Devil Summoner Raito Kuzunoa versus the Soulless Army. This game is interesting because I love the setting. I know, Phil. We'll get to that. We'll get to that at the end of this tier list. We can talk about it. I like the setting a lot. I always love fictional timelines. This takes place in an alternate timeline where the Taisho era lasts longer. So I love that. I love that they tried to do something different. The problem is the battle is super slow. Battle system is very slow. It's very easy to manipulate too, so you don't die. It's very boring because it's too simple to be engaging, but it's too repetitive to be enjoyable too. Because you can find something very simple and then you could be engaged by it, or you can still enjoy it. But it gets so irritating to battle, even when you. Imagine the same way you fight the first thing you fight, like your first pixie, is the same way you're gonna fight the final boss, Yasuo Magatsuhi. Spoilers, you guys, it won't make sense to you unless you know a lot about Shintoism. But anyway, this game is interesting. I love the plot. I love the detective like aesthetic. The music is kind of grating to me because I'm someone who actually doesn't really love the Raito music because it sounds exactly like the Persona 4 music to me. It has the same annoying trumpets that Meguro loves to use. It has this is where you start to see the Meguro song structure come out a lot, where he kind of repeats the same sort of formulas for different songs. The battle themes kind of repeat. The sad songs are all the same. Listen to any sad song that Meguro made from 2006 to now, and they're super similar. They're so formulaic. You could predict them. Yeah, there's no depth. the story is very interesting, but you have to like suffer through the gameplay. You have to suffer through the gameplay to enjoy the story. It is like Persona 2, where that's the case. I just don't really love this game for those reasons. The cast itself is kind of weak compared to Raito 2, because Raito 2 introduces my favorite Megaten character, who's not like a protagonist. The plot is really interesting. It does have the Nocturne problem, where you have to know a lot about like Shintoism, Japanese history, history in general, for you to really understand the story for Devil Summoner and Raito and why it's interesting. Like, all of that is kind of a detriment in my opinion. I think that it's interesting because then after you learn about Abe no Seme or the Kuzunoa clan, or you know, the Taisho era, or even like Japanese Reformation or Shintoism, the game becomes a lot more interesting. But because you have to do that to really get anything out of it, it's got to be in D. It's not that good. It's not failing and it's not mid. It's just there. The gameplay could be fixed, and I think that would probably raise the grade quite a bit. Catherine, no, let's not do Catherine full body. I want to do those two side by side. Okay. Shin Megami Tensei 9. 9 is a game that's really interesting because it adds this weird context to the story between Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2. It kind of explains how the Tokyo Millennium actually like forms, and it provides a lot of like more biblical narrative parallels with a flood concept, the idea of a messiah returning to save the humanity. And it tries to explain the way the angels and Yahweh interact with the character and humans in 2. I don't really think that it's that good for that though, especially because the way that it depicts Steven is really stupid. Steven kind of just comes and goes as this like elite hacker sort of guy. This game has really interesting ideas. The hacking segments are really interesting and kind of fun the first time. I don't think that they're fun for very long though. The battle system is a real-time strategy, I think is what it's called. Don't necessarily like the battle system, but I do admire that they tried something different. One of the things about the Megaten at this point is that they're so experimental that within the same time span, we got like Puzzle Decall, we got this game, we got Makin, a lot of games experimenting with the ideas of different types of gameplay, and they're interesting for trying, but where they fail is actually being solid games in the gameplay department. Well, not Puzzle Decall, that one's actually solid. I will bring it down because I also don't really care for the art style too much. The pacing kind of jumps around. There's a time jump in the story, which is kind of interesting, but again, like, I do feel like it goes from 0 to 100 and back and forth. Hey, Filthy B. And yeah, this thing also has involvement from one of the guys I dislike from Megami Tensei, Kazunari Suzuki. Here it goes. It gets to be in C. It's not quite as bad as Raito, but it's not that good either. Alright. Nocturne. So, Nocturne is a game that I used to just like passively because I played it as a kid. I played it when I was literally a child. I was like 15. And then from last year to now, I've played like I'm almost at 1,000 hours of Nocturne, which I'm proud of actually. And I can say that the reason why people love Nocturne is the exact opposite for why I like Nocturne. Nocturne has a very engaging story where where you have to experience all the endings. Not all Megaten games are like that, but in this particular game, I think that you have to do True Demon ending, you have to do Freedom ending, you have to do Demon ending, and you have to do one of the reasons. If you do at least one of the reasons and all the other endings, you'll really understand all the characters' perspectives, especially Lucifer, because Lucifer reacts Lucifer reacts differently in each ending. It's pretty subtle. Like I was talking with Kid Capes, what's his name, Glib, about it, and he kind of disagreed with me a little bit on what I meant, but in my opinion, the gameplay is great, the story is great, and the music is alright. The music is actually a low point for me. So one of the big things that I did want to stress is that the original game, solid on its own, and the new game, HD Remaster, adds skill selection. Here is why skill selection is easier than not having skill selection. Let's look at Nocturne in a vacuum. Nocturne introduces Demon Evolution. Nocturne has Special Fusion, or Sacrificial Fusion, whatever you want to call it. And Nocturne has a really small roster of demons that they want you to actually fuse for. Now, the game is built around the idea that you're mostly like experimenting, trying to evolve demons, to the point where they include items to kind of check to see which demons can evolve. It plays with the idea of like inherent building of skill sets based on what the demons already have. Nocturne only has like 100 and I think it's 170 or so. I don't remember the exact number, but it's sub 200, but it's higher than 120. I don't remember what it is though. Like, hold on, my hand is actually getting numb from holding it in place. So Nocturne has this fusion system, or this system built around the idea that you're kind of playing around with the demons and fusing to get the demons that fit that current part of the game. I think that a lot of the demons that are available in different sections of the game are quite well suited to those sections of the game, and you're supposed to fuse for them. There's a reason why the demons unlock after you beat those bosses and whatever. I think that what people misunderstand is that this game, they kind of play this game like it's Shin Megami Tensei 4, where skill selection is inherently baked into the game, and it's meant to be in the game. It doesn't change the difficulty within SMT4, because it's supposed to be there, even though the difficulty in SMT4 is already broken for other reasons anyway. It doesn't really matter. When you're able to like make perfect demons right off the jump street, it does reduce the quality of the gameplay, because it makes it easier to go through the sections. You're not really supposed to just fuse and get whatever skills you want. You're supposed to use whatever the default skill set is, and then add a couple of extra skills that are useful. Because what you gotta remember, that skill selection literally only has like 3 skills that you get to choose or something. Sometimes it's a little bit more, but like it's not crazy to just want someone to just use the like 6 skills that the demon inherently has, and then like the other like 4 skills it'll learn over time, in addition to like the 2 skills you really wanted. There's not even that many skills that are so useful and vital that you couldn't just get them off Jump Street anyways. You only really need Debilitate, Focus, Secunda, alright, not Secunda, Tsukaja, Rakukaja, and then like that. To me, that's all you really need. Anyway, all this to say, I put Nocturne in S tier as well. I would have put it in A, but after playing it so much, I've really grown to appreciate it, especially for some of the reasons why I dinged Raito, because Raito relies heavily on you understanding a lot of things that you wouldn't know as a Westerner. Nocturne is very similar in that regard, but since I understand it, I don't care. I like it, so I'm rating it higher, and you can't stop me. This Raito is the same, but this one is Raito 2 and for the purposes of this video, I need to explain, of this stream, I need to explain, this isn't just Nocturne Chronicle Edition. This is literally, even on the box art, it's labeled as a Raito game bundled with something else, and it's bundled with Nocturne. This is Raito 2 plus Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne Chronicles, which fixes some bugs that happen in Nocturne, including this weird chest bug, where when you would open a chest, if another chest had the same item, it would open as well in another part of the map. Nocturne is too high. Sucks to suck. It's my opinion. I like Nocturne's battle system a lot. I find the game's story one of the most engaging stories. I find the NPC dialogue and interaction very fun. So whatever. So since this game is Nocturne and Raito, I'm gonna put it up here because Raito 2 is also very good. And I'm gonna put it right here. So everyone who's watching this isn't just Nocturne. This is Nocturne and Raido 2, because that's what's in this. It's a bundle pack. I don't know why people only look at that box art and think Nocturne, but it's both. Even though I played Nocturne for the first time only 2 years ago, you feel nostalgia? Okay. All right. Let's go to another good game. Persona 4 Dancing. I am one of the few people who love Persona 4 Dancing. I find that it's fun. I find that the story isn't the greatest story, but none of the Hoshino Persona stories are that good. Hoshino Persona is pretty simplistic in its delivery. It's ham-fisted. It relies on the same sort of jokes, the same sort of scenarios. It is what it is. The remixes for this game are fine. They're very middling because there's only like 20 songs. There's only like 3 songs. There's like 10 songs, and there's like several remixes of the same songs. I find that the worst part about this game is the lack of music. Any standard rhythm game would have like 50 songs, 30 songs. No standard rhythm game has such a small roster of songs, and then such a small roster of DLC. It's so bizarre to me that the game is like that. This is what plays in my head when I think about Persona. But all that being said, there's more detriments to this game than there are positives. I like the game a lot. I like the way it functions, but it's significantly too easy to be a fun rhythm game, because once you beat it once, it's like you're done. This game is super easy. All the Persona rhythm games are super duper easy. You guys have watched me stream it. Most of the songs I play for one time, and then you see me get like a near perfect score almost every time, because they're so easy. I have to speed it up to make it fun. Most rhythm games have like a lot of songs. This one doesn't. Because of that, I have to put it in D. It's not quite mid because I enjoyed it more than Persona 5 Dancing, which I hate. I hate it because it has the worst remixes. They're not all as bad as people say. Some of them are actually okay or serviceable at best, but largely they miss the point of what it means to remix a song. When you remix a song, the idea is you're putting your own identity into it. You're enhancing the songs like bones. You're stripping away everything, all the meat, all the muscle, everything, and you just have the bones, and then you're building off of that. To keep the song more or less the same is a disservice to the idea of a remix. Also, when your idea of a remix is just to add stupid dubstep, it's dumb and bad. This one is worse because it has that social scenario stuff, and I just don't like the Persona 5 cast, so that sort of fan service does not work for me. I don't enjoy that fan service. Sorry. Whereas, alternatively, I like this one. I think the Persona 3 Dancing has better remixes. The Persona 3 music is more enjoyable for me anyway. At a baseline, I don't like the Lotus Juice songs, but I can deal with that if it means I can listen to the other songs, like Kimi no Kuoku. I will say that the fan service for this game is fine because I like the cast of Persona 3. So having them interact in a stupid Velvet Dance Club or whatever they called it, I didn't mind it so much because I actually wanted this sort of thing. It's bad. I wish that these games would be more like real rhythm games and less like Persona games. If they stopped trying to be so Persona-ish and leaned into the genre way more, I think these games would have been very competent. But since they're not, I don't think that it's worth owning these unless you get like the triple set for like $30 or less. It's not worth paying like $50 for one of these games. All right. Keeping my friends close, my foes closer, things get messy, but I never left the nose. As I get older, see my things slower. My enemies looking like kids. I'm grown up, forget it. Imagine. I hate Imagine, dude. I hate Imagine. Imagine is one of those games where I should love it because it's repetitive, it's simple, it has some deviation where you can kind of experiment and make your own character. It has fan service, so you can dress up like your favorite Mega 10 characters from anything from Shin Megami Tensei 1 to like Nocturne. It has an interesting story that it tries to tell well, and it's, for the most part, it's a pretty good story. But boy, do I hate Imagine. I played Imagine when it first came out in the West. When it was, I think it was Aria Games that first licensed it before it went to Atlus directly, or maybe it was Atlus and then Aria. Either way, I have one of my oldest emails from Atlus ever is me. One of my oldest ever Atlus emails is me getting welcomed into Atlus Online because I was playing Imagine. This game I played it for quite some time. And then there's also the private server, which is where I played it the most because I got to redo the story. It's another one like 9 where it takes place in between these two games, SMT 1 and 2. And I don't like it nearly as much as 9. Let's just say that. I don't find the gameplay fun. I don't like the grindiness. Jeez, it just has to go here. The music is good. I love the fan service of Imagine, but those two things aren't enough. All right, let's go to Devil Survivor 2. So yesterday we learned I don't remember anything about Devil Survivor 2, and I still don't remember anything about Devil Survivor 2. So I like to the point where I have to put it in I haven't played because I literally cannot remember anything about the game. Something about space, something about being in like a dorm or something. Like, I literally do not remember this game. It's so forgettable to me that I just can't remember what it's about. It's just there. It's just a game that exists. I'm sorry. I have to put it there because I literally don't remember. I'm not even a hater. It's just that, like, try to be a better game because I literally can't remember what it is. I don't remember what happens. Like, no, I'm sorry. Game pretty forgettable. Okay. Makin. Makin is a game that is interesting because it's one of those experimental games like I talked about. Atlus tried to do a bunch of different types of gameplay, and for the most part they failed at almost every single type of gameplay. This one has that first person action thing. I think this game would have functioned amazingly as an arcade title. This game should have been an arcade title. Makin X is so short. It's like 4 or 5 hours. It's like, dude, it's like one of those games where it's conceptually built for arcades. Alternatively, the story is okay. It's about this sword. You're the sword. The sword's the main character. The girl is not. The girl is just there. She's just a facilitator of the plot / the person to put on the box art. Kei Sagami is not important unless you read the manga, in which case she is important. And the manga kind of is good. I recommend everyone read it. It's done by this artist who becomes famous. What was her name? Hayashida Q. So Makin X is one of those games that it's cool for trying new things. It's cool for trying to be a first person. It's cool for trying to do this weird brain jack gameplay mechanic. I think that gameplay mechanic is so interesting. Yeah, sorry, Q Hayashida. And but at the same time, it still fails. It fails to live up to some of the things. I think that overall, it's not that good. I like it, but dude, bam, it's got to go in D, because ultimately, it's not that good of a game. It's really simple. And then that leads us to like Makin Shao. Where is Makin Shao? Makin Shao tries to do this thing where it fixes the third person, fixes from first person to third person. This was part of their whole like concern that the first person aspect would make people sick, because it was very common in the era just before this one for Japanese kids to get sick. They called it I forgot what they called it. Jeez, but it was like a motion sickness that would be brought on because of the way the way the first person moves. It also rebalanced some of the brain jacks to be a little better. But I think it's actually worse for being third person. I prefer the first person, so it has to go in mid. It's not as good as the original. I don't care if it fixes the brain jack balance, because some of the brain jacks that you can get early on will last you until you get like one of the final boss brain jacks. There's a brain jack towards the end that like is the best one, but you can coast on like one or two of the ones from the very beginning. This one also introduces like a leveling system, if I remember correctly, which is interesting, but it doesn't save it from the mediocrity. Ronde's bad. Like, there's not really anything to say. It's slow, it's clunky, the music isn't really that good, the graphics are butt ugly, it's very ugly. The art is cool, the art that you see that the person designed, amazing. The art in the game, the actual gameplay is ugly. It's irredeemable, dude. Like, we're living in a, that's like a, let's see, when did Ronde come out? Okay, thank you. Ronde release date 1997. Best games 1997. Final Fantasy VII came out the same day, the same year, and it's ugly too, but it looks significantly better. This music is like the most ill-fitting music for what I'm trying to say. Ronde's bad. Ronde is not good. Yes, I'm sorry, I'm not a Castlevania fan. Okay, FF12 Kid redeemed the hot take. Are you guys ready for my first hot take about SMT5? Who's ready for my first hot take about SMT5? Fresh off the presses, never mentioned in public at all. I do not. These are the, okay. Here, we'll do. I'm gonna do like 3, dude. You guys are gonna all leave because I'm gonna drop 3 like big ones. 1, I think Nahobino is ugly. I do not think he's attractive. I don't think he's anything. He's just an ugly like. He's just an ugly like guy who looks like an amalgamation. He looks kind of like a combination between every single main character that Doi has ever designed, and then just long hair. Like, just long hair. It's not good. Dude, it's such a mediocre design. And then on top of that, you got this super butt ugly Sentai like outfit. Here, let's look at it, because also the music stopped. 1 second. Let me put the music back on so I can keep going. I can't rant without the music. I need you guys to see this. Maybe I am crazy, or maybe I'm one of those few sane people. This outfit is suck. This outfit is suck. Cinematic parallel. Literally the same design. It's so ugly. His outfit is ugly. The hand knife is ugly. That's dumb. I've seen it a million times. Okay, so here's one thing. I like his shoes, and the reason why I like the shoes is because I think it's supposed to be a callback to like ancient Japan and their love of wearing geta. That looks like he's wearing geta to me. Particularly it looks like it also looks like Tengu geta. Well, you can't see the shoes. Hold on. So that's the shoes. They look like Tengu geta, like glued onto his like rest of his outfit. I actually don't mind it. I actually like that part. They remind me of Tengu geta. which are the Geta that have the one thing, the one thing in the middle. That's what they look like to me. So I don't mind that. But the rest of this outfit is trash. Let me remind you guys. Masayuki Doi is a fashion major. He got his degree in fashion design. He went to school for art for fashion. Go back to school. Go back to school. Go back. Okay, that's hot take number 1. Here's my second. Actually, no, never mind. You guys gotta redeem it. If you want more hot takes, redeem it. But that's the hot take you get. I think that he's butt ugly. I'm sorry, I wouldn't wear a skin tight, ugly, over-designed tokusatsu suit. Sorry. Hot takes. Okay, here's the other two. Here's the other two. Here. I need you guys to see something. Alright? Really quickly, I need you guys to look at this. It's pretty important to me because I saw this tweet and it actually kind of blew my mind a little bit. Ignore a big chunk of it. But here, look at this. Think about this. Cerberus, new Cerberus. Pixie, new Pixie. Chuchulain, new Chuchulain. And then these other arrows are wrong. I think that it's interesting to think about. This is exactly what it looks like. It looks like, for context, these are some of the most popular demon designs of all time. Pixie, Chuchulain, Cerberus, they're insanely popular. Why did he make things that mimic those things? Irish mythology, Celtic mythology, cute little pixie, even though it's supposed to be an old lady who's born from rage. Cute little loyal boy, wolf boy. Bruh, this is ugly. This is ugly right here. I hate this design a lot. I love this this design, but I hate this design for that character. Amanazaku is not supposed to be a little girl. She's supposed to be an old hag born from Susanoo's, like, what was it, like wrath? What about this looks wrathful to you? When you see this girl, do you think, wow? When you see this girl, do you think, wow, she's about to rage against the machine? She's so like whatever. No, dude. New Cerberus looks like a Pokemon. Actually, I've seen this Pokemon before. Sun, Pokemon, dog. I don't know, it's Bulldog. We've literally seen the legend. What is it? What is the name of that legendary dog from Sun? Yeah, Solgaleo. We already got a Sun dog. We do not need anything else. Look. Oh snap, it's the new Doi design. That's crazy. That's so crazy. Look at that. Whoa. Ugh. I'm sorry, but Doi can hit really hard. McCool looks amazing, dude. This is a very good design. I love McCool. This is an excellent design. This is an excellent design. This is an excellent touch-up of an already existing design. This is cringe. Pokemon cringe, dude. This is cringe. I like McCool. I like the design of Amanazaku. I don't like it for her character, but I like that design. I like the new Angel, and I like the new design for Kameo. It's not like that much of a difference. McCool is super good looking, dude. It looks faithful. I love horns. Like, okay, this is gonna sound ridiculous, but I love horns on characters. For some reason, when there's horns, I instantly am like, ugh? Like, give me that. Let me see that character. For some reason, horns are like the most ingenious thing to ever exist on putting like horns on like rabbits, horns on dogs. If you ever need to make a design on a character better, just add horns. Add horns on characters. Add horns. Every character should have horns. Put horns on Demi-Fiend. That's why I like Demi-Fiend's horn, because he has one on the back of his head. Horns. 2022, the year of the horn. Everything gets a horn. All right. But yeah, the hot take here is that this is ugly. It's stupid. I don't like that there's like these weird cinematic parallels. I kind of wish that there wasn't these cinematic parallels, because it almost tells me like that he was super fixated on the idea of being like important and remembered. That's what that looks like to me when you add this sort of thing, you know? I say it's more of a spike. Jumko. It's a spike. But I want to call it a horn because it's way more funny. You must be really funny at parties. No, I don't know, sorry. Thank you, Uber Preto, for the follow. But yeah, so that's my hot take. That's the other hot take. Okay, final hot take about SMT5, because I won't say anymore unless you redeem him. Okay. Oh look, it's the new door design. Pretty good. Okay. He's a deer. Oh, you're a deer, Axel. So I don't understand why people are fixating on the gender identity of the protagonist. The reason why it bothers me is because he's clearly male. I think that he just looks like every anime boy in the world. He just looks like a anime boy. Let's look at some famous anime boys, shall we? Bro, look how pretty this boy is. Is it a boy or is it a girl? Whoa, who? That is crazy. That's this boy and or a girl. So androgynous, because look, he's pretty. Wow, is he a boy or is he a girl? So beautiful. He's got a rose. He's wearing pink. Those are girls identifiers. Whoa, boy or girl? I'm like afraid to look up Griffith because I feel like something bad's gonna show up. We'll see. Dang, look at this couple arguing. It's crazy. I hope they just get along someday. Jeez. Aw, look at the lovely couple. That's crazy. They call it Berserk because he's berserkedly in love with her. She's beautiful, bro. Dang. Look at them juicy lips. Bro. He's so lucky. Like, what the? Dang, this is before they got married. That's crazy. This is before they got married in the manga. See, he's retiring. He's retiring from like from his sword job where he sharpens swords, and she's waiting for him. She's waiting for him at the church. That's so wild, dude. This is beautiful. I love this. She's so lucky. He's so lucky too, bro. I just can't tell if actually. Wait, is she a boy or is she a girl? She's androgynous, bruh. Yeah, SMT5 annoys me that people are like, man, he looks like a girl, maybe. You know, I've seen more guys in real life who have like long eyelashes and whatever than I have seen girls with natural long eyelashes. It's kind of just a thing. I don't know. That's like my own like personal experience. I don't know what to say. The idea that being slender and having long hair means you're a girl or androgynous is pretty stupid. Because I've seen some actual androgynous people before where the whole idea is that they're not just a male who looks feminine, they're a person who has both male or like masculine features and feminine features, and it's indistinguishable. That's the idea of androgyny, is to have both characteristics, not be one gender and look more like another gender because you have long eyelashes or long hair. Like, does that mean that every girl who wears like baggy clothes and like a snapback, are they androgynous because they're dressing like a quote unquote man? Pretty cringe. Pretty cringe. I don't think it's LGBT. One thing that I saw was that people say that it's like a performative thing, meaning that basically people are just like talking about it because it's a meme. It's a meme to talk about the gender. It's funny to do it, and I think that's what it is. I don't think people actually are confused by the gender or anything, but I do think it's pretty cringe that that's the thing that people are fixated on. Very cringe. Okay, thank you for the hydrate. All right, corny boy, here you go. This game is actually called Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei. This one is actually developed by Telenet. The trivia is that this wasn't just developed by Telenet. Actually, while developing this and while developing their own game, Atlus helped co-develop this game. So this game has Atlus development on it. It's not just Telenet Tensei, it's actually Atlus and Telenet. And I think it's really interesting to think about. Wait, what? No, Plant Bat, you missed. So this game is pretty good. It's not bad, it's just whatever. However, the Atlus game is amazing. I like the story. I like that it tries to do its own thing. And you know, it's foundational. It's one of those things where you have to give it high points for being the foundation. And Plant Bat, these are here because I just don't remember them. I don't want to put them on a tier because I literally can't remember what they are. Okay, let's go with another one. Let's go with the recent one. Persona Q2. Persona Q2 actually is pretty good. I think it fixes a lot of the problems I had with Persona Q1. One of the main things about Persona Q is that you have to just accept that this is fan service, and you either just get on board with it or you're gonna not like the fan service. Unfortunately, I do not like the cast from Persona 5, so the fan service for this game is kind of like miss for me, mostly miss. But the gameplay is solid. It's actually a good gameplay game. I actually like it quite a bit. In saying that, I think Persona Q1 has better gameplay still, even though it tries to even though I think Persona Q2 tries to fix some of the gameplay issues with Persona 1 or Persona Q1. This one has a better cast. I like the roster of characters. I also like the introduction of Zen. He's one of my favorite Persona characters. I love Zen. He's good. I'm gonna put this in B tier because I've kind of grown to appreciate the fan service, and I appreciate even some of the music in Persona Q is great. Also, larrue, do you know the general reception of Apocalypse in Japan? I'm asking because most people over here like gameplay in Japan. It's pretty mixed. It's divisive. There's a reason why a lot of SMT for Apocalypse sells for pretty low, resells pretty low because it's not really that loved. Hello, Halloween. How you doing? But yeah, Q1, good game. I think that you have to just accept some games have fan service, and that's kind of the purpose of them. The dancing games have fan service, so you either get on board with the fan service or you're not going to enjoy those games, you know? And for Q1, I love the introduction of the new character. I don't care if the plot loops around and maybe it's quote unquote not canon. I don't really think that the fixation on canon is relevant to gameplay at all or enjoyment of something. So for me, Q1 is very good. Q2 is all right. I would recommend that anyone who likes dungeon crawlers try these two games out, especially if you like Etrian. Then try these. These are just Etrian, a little simplified with some Persona stuff happening. All right, let's go with another old one. Old Debbie Sama. Devil Summoner is interesting because very fun, good story. I love the story in Devil Summoner. The story basically being you play as a guy who took over the body of Kyoji Kuzunoa. So people call him Kyoji because at the end of the game you get to choose whether or not you're going to stay Kyoji or not. I think that this is I have played 9, yes. I think that this game is good. The gameplay is kind of rough. It's very difficult for me. It's also got like some of the craziest recruitment. I might be mistaken, but it's almost random feeling. But I was also told that Last Bible isn't random and that I just kind of wasn't recruiting the right way. But this game is rough for me. I enjoyed the story a lot. I enjoy the music a lot. But the gameplay is the part that's kind of brings it down. So I got to put it down here because it's like this where I enjoyed it for the music or for the gameplay like I enjoyed Raido for the story, but I didn't enjoy the other aspects. I enjoyed the gameplay of this, but not the other aspects. Yes, Sionus. Wait, Scion, would you ever put Raido 1 above Puzzle Call? I don't know, man. I don't know. Cosmosis. I really like the concepts and themes of Persona 5. So introducing Persona 3 and 5, 4 characters are based in Epic. See, that kind of just goes to show that, like, yeah, the exciting gameplay of Raido. Yep, super good. Oh, jeez. Okay, was there? How do I feel about SMT5 being open world? Honestly, I have no opinion. I do think that it does remind me a lot of of Pokemon. Seeing the demons in world is kind of just random. I don't know. It just, I have to actually play it to really get an understanding. I'm not someone who actually thinks about the games in like with the little bits of information and kind of judging if I'm gonna love it or not. I have to actually play it because knowing that, oh, the press turn system is a little different, the buff debuffs are a little different, like that doesn't matter to me because I don't know how that fits into the rest of the puzzle of the game. I need to play the game to then figure out, oh, I like that it's overworld, or oh, that I like that, you know? So I need to see it to really get a good grasp. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything to me, you know? Okay, Persona 4. I remember when I first played Persona 3, and I thought that Persona 3 was a spin-off of Nocturne, because I knew Nocturne was the third game, and I was like, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Persona, does that mean that it's an alternate telling of Nocturne? So for a long time, I thought Persona 3 was a Nocturne, like, alternate world game. And then I played Persona 4, and I was like, whoa, this game is kind of cool. I kind of like the crazy, upbeat music and the scary, spooky, murdery stuff. I actually like the villain of this game quite a bit. I like the overall story. Where it falls apart for me is some of the playable characters are very bad, in my opinion. They're literally just 1 or 2 note characters, for the most part. And this is the first game in the Hashino trilogy where character growth stops at the end of their story arc. Like, dude, I literally hate that in Persona 4 they introduced the idea that as soon as your story is done, as soon as we do your dungeon, no more growth. And I think that that's been the biggest detriment to the game. Where it stands up though is the good music, decent story, you know, like, bruh. So I'm gonna have to put this in D because it just doesn't live up to Persona 3 for me. I like this game, but there's a lot of problems with it. And for me, the characters being well written matters significantly more than the story being good. And yeah, this is Destiny 1. I find this song to be so depressing, dude. It hurts. This song actually hurts me, like when I think about it, because you know, the writer, the composer passed away, so I kind of associate the song with his passing. I think that the idea for their story to be related to the S-Links is, yeah, I know, I understand why they did it to Halloween, but it's significantly worse because in Persona 3, the characters keep building. Junpei goes from being this annoying, cocky guy to you see all these different things happen with him, and by the end of the game, he's let his guard down a bit. He's kind of opened up a bit. He's grown quite a bit. But when you go to Chie, who her big thing was being jealous of Yukiko, She doesn't change after that. She's exactly the same throughout the whole game. She doesn't change at all. The only difference is she just stops being as annoying, I guess. There's like no character evolvement or evolution for that, and I think that that's a detriment to the game. In saying that, Persona 3 P goes in F because it has you have the ability to date a minor whose whole thing is acting like an adult. So I'm gonna put that there, and I'm gonna put Persona 3 Fes in C tier because it's better. Persona 3 Fes fixes some of the gameplay problems from the vanilla release. It adds the answer, which I don't personally like, but yeah. Yes, I don't know how old Ken is precisely, but there's this huge character dynamic. I like Persona 3's gameplay. I like the cast a lot. Where it falls apart is the social links and the boring, repetitive gameplay. The gameplay in Persona 3 is just okay. Like, that's all. It's just okay. But the story, the main characters actually evolving over time, the way the music fits thematically with the game, all solid. I just don't understand why it has to have some of the worst social links, or why, you know, its gameplay is just boring. Tartarus is a horrible idea, and I think that it's hilarious that Persona 5 brought back Tartarus in the form of Mementos, which Mementos was not fun, by the way. Alright, Synchronicity Prologue. Synchronicity Prologue is a prequel to Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey. It's a Metroidvania from the studio Ladybug that's made, I think, like a Toho Metroidvania game. Very fun, good music. You get to play as Jack Frost and Pirate Jack. Oh snap, and a Strange Journey, or Synchronicity Prologue song comes up. Where it falls apart is that it's ridiculously short. Literally that. That's the only thing that I think is bad. It clearly wasn't meant to be more than an hour or two. Unfortunately, it's got to go in A tier. It cannot be S. And what it needs is a little more refinement and a little more complexity in the gameplay. A little more gameplay. Yes. Synchronicity Prologue is a very good game. Highly recommend everyone play it because it's literally only 2 hours. I've heard people compare the Labyrinth of Amala to Mementos more than Tartarus. Okay, that's like the worst possible comparison. The Labyrinth of Amala is a fun dungeon if you like first-person dungeon crawlers. One of the best things about Nocturne is that when you beat it, you can go ahead and play the game in first person, and it's significantly more fun in first person. You get to experience the game kind of like you're playing SMT or SNES SMT. I really like the Kalpas. I don't understand anyone who doesn't like the Amala or the dungeon design in Nocturne. It's good. It's good dungeons. Go play it. Alright. So let's talk about Jack Bros. First of all, Synchronicity Prologue is not a sequel to Jack Bros. It's not the same Jack Frost. It's not the same Pirate Jack. Jack Ripper is nowhere to be found. The story has no narrative connection to Jack Bros. So I hate when people go, duh, you play as Jack Frost, so it's a sequel. No, okay, just go away. Jack Bros is amazing. I like Jack Bros because I love the difficulty. I love the short experience in which you can beat the game. It's like, it only takes a few hours to beat Jack Bros. It's very fun. The gameplay mechanics are very balanced. The only character that's not balanced is Pixie, because Pixie's a fun secret character, so it's supposed to be broken. Where it falls apart is the color scheme. The color scheme is pretty bad. It's awful, actually. It's not that it hurts your eyes or anything. It's just that it's just really not good. It being trapped on a console that's super dead and it being super ridiculously expensive is also a detriment to the game. But I have to put it in B tier because from a standpoint of just the game living in its own vacuum, not thinking about anything else, it's a solid game. It's just a solid game. Atmo, hello. All right. Another Bible. Another Bible is not very good. Another Bible has really ugly art, which is bad because it's the artist behind Another Bible is the same one that did the Tokyo Revelation manga. She also did a lot of art for the tabletop art, RPG stuff. Her name is Chiaki. I forgot her name, but she did the art for this. It's ugly, ugly as sin. I really find this game's art style to be very bad. The story is super disconnected and not told very well. It's super short. It's super simple, and it's the only good quirk is the hidden character mechanic within like each map of Another Bible, which is a SRPG. There's like at least one hidden character that you can recruit, and I think that it's very cool that exists. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in like mid because it's pretty mediocre, but I think it's pretty good for what it's trying to do. I guess it just needs better art style. It needs a more coherent story, and it needs just more sophisticated gameplay because its gameplay is super easy. Oh, I forgot about the music. You're right. Music is bad. I kind of enjoyed it the first time around, but then when I look at it through a critical lens, it's not that good. All right. Speaking of not that good, Catherine Full Body. I love Catherine. I love Catherine for a myriad of reasons. It's super difficult for me. I am someone who's dumb at puzzles. Some of you guys have seen me stream Catherine, and some of you guys have watched me suffer incessantly on simple puzzles. I am just dumb when it comes to puzzles. But for some reason, this game's story and the puzzles are so fun that I will struggle through it just because it's good. The game has really compelling characters. They're written very well. The story is interesting. The music is really boring and bad. The art is good. Jeez. So, the problem with this game is that it's the remaster, the re-release, whatever you want to call it. What do? They add this other character, this Mary Sue perfect anime girl with pink hair that everyone loves right off Jump Street. Super annoying, super dumb. She disappears if you don't do her endings. She just disappears on the last day. She just disappears. They add this easy mode BS to the gameplay that you can't turn off that makes it so you basically will never lose. They remove the concept of the compelling music, which I didn't even like that much, but they remove the music because they have Rin play her stupid piano in all the dungeons, and it's so annoying. I hate Rin. Rin is ugly. Rin is dumb. I wish she didn't exist. Rin, go away. You ruined this game. You are dumb and awful. Rin, ugly, dumb, pink-haired, dumb BS, ugly, piano, dumb, perfect Mary Sue, ugly idiot. She's bad. I hate Rin. Rin is a textbook example of the Atlas plus one girl. Rin sucks. Rin sucks. Rin sucks. The story within here's the thing. Here's some spoilers for Catherine Full Body, so don't listen or leave if you don't want me to spoil it. The reason why I didn't mention the gender is because that's a huge spoiler. That's why I've been referring to them as female. But yeah, anyway. The reason why I don't like Rin is because within the context of Catherine, it's a, for the most part, grounded story. It's, for the most part, the characters are supposed to be realistic. The characters are supposed to be compelling and interesting because they have inherent flaws and they're not perfect, and they make those things very obvious amongst themselves, and I think that makes a compelling story. But Rin does this thing where she's a perfect anime girl. Everyone likes Rin right off the bat. She has no flaws. She has one flaw that you find out at the end, but it's not even a flaw. It's just a thing about them. And I think that it's pretty bad when you go from this interesting, grounded story with supernatural elements to this dumb, fantastical anime story. To me, it completely changes the tone of the game. There's a reason why when she disappears in the other endings, it actually makes it feel totally different because you're getting the original experience and it doesn't balance it. There is some good things about Full Body. Full Body adds these amazing cutscenes that add more context to the relationship between Catherine with a K and Vincent, and I love that. I think that part is a welcome addition. I just don't like Rin, dude. Rin is not good in the context of the game. That's why, okay? In saying that, I love Catherine. Catherine is a good game. It's a great game. Everyone should play Catherine. The only thing I don't like is the music is a lot of the music is covers of classical music, so it's not that good because if you like new interesting music, you're not gonna get it because it's just covers. All right, thank you, the Theo Normal MBV for the follow. Thank you, What's My Enemy for the follow, and Tactics 118 for the follow. I highly recommend everyone play Catherine, either Full Body or Vanilla. It's very good. It's worth playing either way. Remember that my opinion is just my opinion, and you should not form your opinion based on what I say. If you do that, bad. You're done. Do not play video games if my opinion influences how you feel about something, because I'm just talking about it. I've never played Catherine multiplayer, so I don't know. Oh, actually, no, that's wrong. I have played Catherine multiplayer before. When I played Catherine multiplayer, it was at the Catherine event, and I played against some guy, and I lost horribly. So, yeah. No, Halloween. I would say, dude, play both. Play both. Play both. They're so different. The vibes are completely different, in my opinion. So it justifies both of them being experienced. Speaking of vibes being different, Strange Journey Redux, dude. Strange Journey Redux is a enhanced remaster or re-release of my favorite Megami Tensei title, Strange Journey. Where it differs drastically is the inclusion of a character known as Alex. Now, the problems with this game are a myriad of things. They've removed Kazuma Kaneko's designs and introduced, I think it's Akira Odagaki who did the human designs, and Masayuki Doi did the new demons and Alex's design. And also Nahobina is in this game. If you like SMT5, this game's a prequel to it because Nahobina is in it. The Nahobina. So, dude, so the problem with this is a lot of things for me. They introduce a new dungeon. So I gotta spoil this game, so don't listen if you don't want spoilers, because I gotta spoil it to talk about it. So Strange Journey Redux introduces the Womb dungeon, Womb of Grief. Womb of Grief is supposed to be like an antithesis to the dungeons that are introduced within the context of Strange Journey. And the reason why that's kind of dumb is that the idea is of these creator deities, these mother deities specifically, are involved with the creation of the new world, or they're involved with the endings that they get produced. They're involved with the overall plan. The womb world, or Womb of Grief, is supposed to be the antithesis to the types of mother deities, and it's a very terrible dungeon. Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey has intense dungeons that are difficult, that are engaging, that are fun, but Womb of Grief is like the most copy-paste dungeon in the world. None of it is engaging. It is very simple. It is very easy. I did it my first run. I finished almost the entire dungeon before I even got to Eridanus. It's that easy. Not only that, but they add new things such as the commander skills, which decrease the accuracy or the difficulty drastically. Because of the commander skills, you don't have to worry about dying because your demons will keep fighting. You don't have to worry about saving because you can save literally anywhere. You don't have to worry about any like there's so many things that get turned off. Things that should not be in a normal setting. And I remember when I first played this game and I first got this strong emotional response where I said I don't like it, and people were like, "Hey, just turn off those things. Hey, just don't do that thing. Hey, just don't save anywhere," even though they add that to it. Yes, commander skills, seeing the enemy it drastically changes the experience. Strange Journey is a claustrophobic, scary experience that makes you play carefully. It punishes you for rushing into things. It punishes you for not being prepared. It punishes you for having bad luck. It's all of those things. Strange Journey Redux is like the security blanket. It's like diapers on your Strange Journey. It protects you from pooping on the floor. It protects you from bumping your head, dude. It doesn't want you to get hurt at all. Strange Journey Redux is like this. When you first bowl, Axel, if you know how some games, or how the games have luck as a part of the determinant, how sometimes demons can use a skill that will wipe your party, or that a demon will use a skill that crits. Like, those are bad luck times. Just like when you hit and you get a crit, that's good luck. I'm saying that when you have bad luck, sometimes Strange Journey will double down on the bad luck and it will kill you, even if you're prepared. And that's just a part of the gameplay. Strange Journey Redux removes that from being even a factor. You cannot have bad luck. You cannot be unprepared. It's a security blanket. It's just like Persona 5 Royal, where it protects you from all experience. It's a gigantic condom on the experience of the game. It asks you to be completely safe and sacrifices any chance of feeling anything. And then on top of that, it changes the story. Strange Journey is about the folly of man, humankind digressing to the point where only the bad things are perceived. The demon kind see these things that humans are doing and emulate that in the form of different sectors of the vortex, or of Schwarzfeld, sorry. So that it's supposed to be a parable. It's supposed to be a story about how that's bad. Strange Journey Redux is a story about how this girl from the future wants to protect her papa, or kill her papa, because he's the chosen one. He's special. This guy is a preordained guy, fated to do something amazing or something awful, depending on which new ending. All of the old endings, which lack any real sense of closure, they also tend to lack any real happiness. Those are all bad because you can't have a sad ending. No, baby. You need your diapers. You need your condoms and your diapers. So you're not gonna have a sad ending. You have to have happy endings, because baby's gotta be protected, right? So Strange Journey Redux introduces new endings that are happy. Yay! Now you won't feel sad, boy. Boy, you cannot feel any bad. Anyway, so here you go. It's in hate. It's bad. It's bad. It's a terrible game. It's literally diapers and condoms all at once. It's condom diapers. Thank you, FF12 kid. 9 months. 9 months of happy. 9 months. 9 months, dude. That's amazing to me. Anyway, I'm glad you guys could point out the one ending that's not as grim, or not as whatever, but it's okay, because going to the moon is stupid. It's stupid within the context of Strange Journey, but it's okay. Oh, geez, why are you guys protecting? You guys are protecting the ending that is so dumb. Contextually, it's dumb for the game. But okay, it's fine if you like the original. I would still recommend playing Redux because you can't get original for very cheap. Redux is generally cheaper than cheaper because you can get it on the not Play Store, the Nintendo Store. So you have to play, like, I want everyone to experience Strange Journey, and it means that some people are gonna have to play Redux, even though I don't care for Redux. Just because, and I love that you guys are getting upset and defending the one ending. Yes, it's a dumb ending. It's a very, very dumb ending. The moon ending is one of those, like, it's one of those fake deep endings. Let's see. So I would recommend that everyone try it. You're gonna have to get it from the eShop. Thank you, Meat of Justice, for the clarification. Alex, if you're as soon as your character is decided that they're an important character who, because of their actions, will change the world, they're a chosen one. I don't understand how I don't know how to explain it any better. In the original game, you're just a good soldier who's better than the other soldiers. That's it. The people in there is some like thing where Lucifer is like, oh, you're interesting, I'm gonna watch you. And the three wise men are like, oh, you're interesting, we're gonna watch what you do. But there's nothing about you being special. In Redux, they go out of their way to tell you, you, protagonist Kun, you are important. Something you do will make this very important. Anyway, and yeah, also, if you don't do the Alex ending, she disappears because they couldn't integrate her well. Anyway, so point is, that game sucks. Who cares? Yeah, you're literally Tada no Hitonari, just an ordinary person. That's what you're supposed to be in Strange Journey, not just a special person, which is what you are in Strange Journey Redux. It's a complete misunderstanding of the narrative. Okay, let's go with the Demi Kids Light Book. This is also called Devil Children Light Book in Japanese. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children Light Book. Jeez. I mean, Axel. Never mind. You're wrong, but whatever. I don't really feel like continuing talking about Strange Journey Redux. I made it pretty clear that I don't like it. I think that the narrative beats are pretty obvious. If you guys didn't see it, whatever. It's whatever. Demi Kids Light Book is okay. I think that it's interesting that it has like the BattleNet, which encourages you to experiment with demons. Or sorry, are they called demons in this game? Yeah, I think they are. It gets you to experiment with demons. It gets you to experiment with the idea of different types of party structures. It's a fun thing. I mean, I don't think it's a fan theory, but yeah, okay. I think that you have to be pretty mad if you keep bringing it up or keep discrediting it. But light version is okay. It's literally the law version of the game. So basically the way they split up the game is light version is like the law character, dark version is the chaos character. So the stories are completely different, but they intertwine at points. I don't mind this game that much. It's fun to me, but it is pretty mediocre overall, especially when you consider what came before it. The original Devil Children games are amazing. And no, this game is nothing like Pokemon. It's like Digimon, if anything. It's because Demi Kids is Devil Children. Devil Children, for some, they just localized it differently. Yeah, there's an elementary school that has a book on summoning demons in its library. And I would put this here too. These two games are just mediocre. They're not terrible, but they're just not very good. Their story is pretty whatever. And in saying that, so is Fire Book and Ice Book. So Fire Book and Ice Book are sequels to Light and Dark. It continues the story, but it just doesn't really add anything interesting. The gameplay is still kind of like simple. There's no compendium, which is annoying, especially if the way they incentivize the fusion and stuff. It's bizarre to me that there's no like compendium for you to go back to. Actually, Devil Children had two anime. This one had its own anime called let's see, Devil Children. I think it was called. I don't remember what it's called. But there's two anime. There's one for the original trilogy, and then there's one for these characters, Jin and Akira. The Jin and Akira one is harder to come by. I literally have never watched it. It got two anime. Stop saying one. There's two separate anime. Two separate anime. Everybody, there's two anime for Devil Children. Two anime. Two. Not one. There's two, and they're separate. Please stop saying there's one. There's two. The Light and Dark anime is harder to come by. I've never watched it all the way through. The original Red and Black one is pretty good. Yes, I'm happy because now you're being factually correct. So, in saying that, let's go with these. For some reason, they do this thing where in this tier list, they only put Black Book, but they don't put Red Book. But then they put the Black and Red Book re-release here. So let's go ahead and do this. I love Black Book a lot. It's one of my favorite Megaten games. It's super simple, but the story is super dark and interesting. It has these weird plot twists and plot points that are just like so bizarre. I find that this game is super underrated because, you know, it's not really underrated as it is just inaccessible. Black Book has some interesting ideas. Setsuna Kai is one of the strongest protagonists in the franchise, and Setsuna Kai suffers quite a bit, you know? I'm gonna put it in B tier. So this book, Devil Children White Book, is actually Translator Tom's one of his favorite games. He's told me quite a bit that it's his favorite Devil Children game. I don't like this character. I can't even remember his name right now. I think it's Masahiro, or is it, it's something with an M. This guy is just all right. It's not. I don't love it nearly as much as I love Setsuna Kai, but it is what it is. Evilise TV. I'm sorry. I don't like the re-releases. All the re-releases kind of are like bad to me. So Full Body's down here, Portable's down here, Strange Journey Redux, and Royal is down here. But let's talk about original Persona 5. I love the gameplay in Persona 5 quite a bit. Persona 5 gameplay is probably the best gameplay in all of Persona. It's just engaging. It's fun. The only thing that I would say is kind of a bad thing is I think that what would you call it? The stealth mechanic is pretty limited, and you almost never use it after it's introduced. I didn't really use it that much. I know that Royal introduces the like thing where you can basically skip sections with the batarang or whatever. I don't know. But the problem with Persona 5 for me is I really find that it exemplifies a lot of the problems I had with Persona 4, but it doesn't improve on any of them. So for grappling hook, thank you. Meat of Justice is like, you're like up here, dude, with all of your like figuring out what I'm trying to say and correcting me. Hi, Goshi. So look, I liked the premise of Persona 5, but I think it's underutilized, it's underexplored, and I think that the dungeons are imbalanced. What I mean by imbalanced is that we have one of the most compelling stories within the Persona franchise. We have that in the first dungeon. The very first dungeon is so good. It makes you hate the character that's the villain of the dungeon. You feel so invested in basically getting your comeuppance, getting your revenge, or vengeance rather. It's a really good dungeon. It's a really good narrative. It's built up really well. But then you kind of go up and down with these dungeons, where sometimes it's an important dungeon and sometimes it's like a stupid dungeon. And I think that what they really needed to do is they needed to rearrange the dungeons. That dungeon should have been one of the last dungeons in the game. That dungeon would have been so excellent in the end, or towards the end, because they could have made you really, really hate how corrupt the school is. They could have made you really hate how no one's doing anything. They could have really built it up. But instead, it starts like a weird roller coaster that gets really high and goes down and up and down really like too fast. The pacing is so abnormal to me. And I think that's a detriment to the game because that dungeon is good. The gameplay is very good. And the other problem is that there's some characters, it has the same thing that happened in even Persona 3 where in Persona 3 we had Shinji who gets introduced too late in the game to be truly enjoyed. And he gets removed from the party too late to be truly enjoyed. In Persona 5, we get that with Haru. And then other characters in that game don't get fully fleshed out, or we don't get enough character moments to really see anything. What they end up doing instead is they rely too much on the idea of the simplified character tropes. And I think that that's a detriment to the story, and it's also a detriment to me being attached to any one character. I loved Ryuji in the first dungeon, but he never stays that way. Ryuji in the second dungeon and the dungeons thereafter, and even and the outside experiences of the game, Ryuji exists purely as a punching bag. He's a joke, and it's not good. It's not fun, or is it entertaining, and it doesn't help the story. Characters like Yusuke are reduced to simple art tropes and Futaba as a gamer, and you could take those specific ideas and expound on them in your head, but the game never does that. The game does not do that, and I think that that's a pretty bad like hallmark for the games. If my biggest complaint would be that, I mean, its biggest plus is its gameplay, because no Persona game truly has engaging gameplay until Persona 5, but it just needs better story and better pacing and better characters development, character writing. It could take from Persona 3 is developing the characters over the course of the story. What it could take from Persona 4, actually nothing, because it does the Persona 4 stuff better. So I gotta put it in D, unfortunately. Haru is wasted because she's actually interesting. I actually wanted to know about Haru, but we don't get enough. And it's just whatever. I think that the goods don't weigh heavy enough to outweigh the bads. It just sucks. Oh, if Haru was the traitor, that would be so cool. I would have liked that. I think that they should introduce other things. They could introduce optional party characters. They could introduce dynamics of characters that go beyond these two characters always feud, these two characters always bond. This is the smart one. This is like they do this thing where each character kind of exists in a vacuum, and no character really truly interacts in a meaningful way. Everyone instead interacts only with Joker. They only interact with you, dude. They just bounce off of you. They never truly go like, where is the really cool conversation between Haru and An? Where is the cool conversation between Goro and Ryuji? There never really is any of that. They have moments where they go to the beach, they experience things, but they just don't ever really feel like they're friends. Instead, they feel like everyone who is a groupie that loves Joker is participating together because of Joker. And I think that's a bad way of writing the story. It's just not good. I feel bad because I don't even like hating on Persona 5 because it's just whatever. And yeah, Ryuji and Anna are supposed to be friends, and you don't ever see that. It's just I don't know. I don't like hating on Persona 5, and the reason why I don't like doing it is because it feels like I'm just being like this sheep that mindlessly hates Persona 5, but I don't even hate it, dude. I just am disappointed by its lack of utilization of all of these things that it could have learned from Persona 2, from Persona 3, like that did things very well that this game just didn't do well. Here's hoping, because there's a lot of reasons why the games kind of didn't do that good. We have the underutilization of, we had too many people writing story. There's people that wrote just the social links. We had people that just wrote the dungeons. We had people that just wrote the story. And because those three people are working differently, they don't connect correctly. And I think that that's a bad thing. We need a couple of people to write all of the things. We need a couple people who have really strong vision to connect everything together in meaningful ways. If they're going to continue social links and progressing stories through social links, those social links need to somehow connect to the main story. It doesn't have to be amazingly impactful, but is it really that hard to ask that maybe you put a flag where if you finish social link, then from this part onward, the dialogue will be like this. If you don't finish social link, from this part onward, the dialogue will be like that. I know that that's a big ask, but this game brought in a lot of money. SMT5 looks good because of Persona 5. There's no disputing that. SMT5 is only looking good because Persona 5 was successful. Use that money to flesh out concepts and ideas in ways to enhance the gameplay beyond superficial things. I think SMT5 looks as good as it can possibly look for a game made in a program that they don't really use for a. They don't use they've never used that engine before. They usually work internally. No, D2 money is funneled through Sega. It's not funneled through Atlus. Therefore, I don't know to what degree Atlus gets any of the money, because Atlus isn't involved with the production of D2 at all. D2 is completely an Atlus project, or a Sega project rather. Speaking of D2, I like D2 a lot. I love repetitive gameplay. I love the daily grind. I think that the problems with D2 are the story and the characters. The story and characters are so terrible in D2. They're among the worst. I can't even think of anything. I can't even think of any other Megaten game that has worse characters than D2's characters. The entire cast is pretty awful. There's only a couple of people. Sucks that you can't, because I've not whaled, and I got a pretty competitive team. But D2 is it's good mechanically. The big problem is the power creep. The way that they introduced these new demons is so anti-consumer. It's so predatory. AG2 is pretty good. Afterworld is pretty good narratively, but it's not that good. So I gotta put it in mid. I love the gameplay, and it is the baller song. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm literally playing D2 right now. I'm playing D2 as we speak. Here, let me show you. Because even though I have all these complaints about D2, I wouldn't say it's bad necessarily. I still like it for what it is. I don't know how to share my blue stacks. Oh, I know what's happening. Maybe I have to put it up more. Sorry, I actually really like the song, so it kind of caught me off guard for a bit. Okay, you guys don't get to see my amazing roster of good pulls from D2. Just know that I got amazing D2 demons. I got amazing D2 demons. I'm like the luckiest D2 player of all time. Like I am probably the luckiest D2 player of all time. Oh, you're right. Okay, here we go. Check out my D2 demons. I am like the D2 god of luck. Thank you, Mizu Kid, or Mizu 007 for the follow. I wasted like 4K gems on Dimensional Shiva. Rip. Okay, really quickly. Sorry, I don't do PvP anymore, so I don't care. I didn't know you could disable it. Sorry. Check out my roster of demons really quick. This is a flex stream right now. For now, temporarily, I'm a flex. These are my demons. Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the boy who has every demon? Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many X-tabs can one guy hold? Looking around here you think, sure, he's got everything. He's got panel 3 Black Frost aplenty. He's got Morion Garuda galore. You want Gatemouth? I got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want Mott. I want to pull what the whales pull. I just got dumb luck and I've won 2 contests. I ask what luck is, and I don't know. What's the word? Bad luck. When's it my turn to lose now? I keep pulling good somehow. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I've been playing every day since release. Yes. Show Dimensional Shiva? I don't know if I have that. Is this one? Yeah, I know. Hey, you can't laugh at my amount of gems if I have more of demons. My Dimensional Shiva sucks. I literally never use this demon. I literally don't use it. It just has... I just stopped using it once I got a better thing. Okay, anyway. Let's get back to the tier list. Alright. Tier list. Let's not forget our roots. This is what we came here for. Hey! Katane! Show me your panel 2 Dimensional Shiva. Oh, that's right. Oh. Okay, anyway. Okay, here we go. Ellis Chris. Hello. We still got a bunch of games to do for this. Jeez. Soul Hackers. I'm gonna go ahead and be completely transparent. I'm one of the people that doesn't love Soul Hackers. Soul Hackers is good. For sure, Soul Hackers is good. I like the story. I like most of the cast. Gameplay good too. But it's just not that good. I think that one of the big narrative struggles is that it tries to do this weird humor stuff. It tries to be really jovial, and I think that for me it doesn't work. The cast is not that engaging for me, especially when you have characters like Six who are super annoying, and Yuichi who's also very annoying. So it kind of loses marks for me for that. And you like the game? Good. I'm glad other people liked it. I just think that for what it is, it's just okay. So I gotta put it in C. I didn't love it. And I'm not someone who loves the music either. I gotta... No, it's not mid for sure. I want to play this song. Life with you. Such a good song, dude. If you don't like the song, you're probably like a serial killer or something. This song is so good, but this is not even the best version of this song. It's like this is the middest version of the song. Here we go. Here's the good version. All right, Digital Devil Saga 2. 2 is so different from 1 tonally, in the sense that it opens up this whole like new world, literally, quite literally. I love the big deep Hindu themes throughout the game. I don't understand them all. I'm super unversed in the world of like Hindu lore and stuff. There's a lot of it in this game and within the first game as well. Where it works really well is I really enjoy some of the big reveals from this game. I love this ending too. It does have, the dungeons aren't as good, and I don't think that I don't think that it's easy to compare both, because they definitely work together. It's kind of like comparing Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment. They definitely work together. Bye, Gatane. Have a good nap. So I gotta put Digital Devil Saga in B tier because it's a very good story. It's very good. This is the best English voice cast of all of Mega 10. Only seconded, or the only thing that comes close is Catherine's voice cast. It's acted so expertly where it's so good. And it drives the plot. A lot of these other ones, like Persona 5, the cast is fine, but they work more like a means to an end. Whereas the people who do the voice acting in Digital Devil Saga and Catherine, they embody those characters in a way that no other cast really does outside. I love those voice casts in English and in Japanese. It's so good. Digital Devil Saga 1 is one of the most interesting games for me. It just opens up this idea of like this weird dynamic, and it creates the episodic thing in a meaningful way. And what I mean by that is the way they introduce the idea of the junkyard and how you have to like progress by going to each one of the different I forgot what they're called, but the different villages or whatever. It's such a good way of doing a natural progression. it introduces these dungeons in a way that feels natural. It fits the Ludo narrative is what I'm trying to say. Strange Journey does that too, where they're trying to escape, and there's plot reasons why they keep going deeper and changing into different parts of the Vortex world or Schwarzfeld. I think that's really good game design when you come up with logical reasons in game why things are happening the way they are. When you don't question it, that's good writing. When you have to think about, does that make sense? Then that's not good. Persona 5 is a prime example. I question why dungeons are balanced the way they are. Hey, Flat Giarth, Flat G Earth or Flat Giarth. Thank you for the follow. I do think it's that high. You gotta watch early in the stream to see. Yeah. Trinity Souls would work as a game. Yeah, I would like it. Okay, speaking of Trinity Souls, Tokyo Mirage Sessions. This is the thing that people hated for some reason because it wasn't what they wished it was. I am gonna upload this on YouTube, yes. What they did with this game was pretty simple. They just the studio behind it, which isn't really Atlas in the sense that you guys are thinking. It's the studio that worked behind that's behind all of the Fire Emblem games. This is Intelligence Systems. The way this game came about is quite literally, yeah, this is actually SMT5 because it's the same exact UI. But the way this game came about was literally Intelligent Systems wanted, I will include my DX2 flexing for sure, but Intelligent Systems wanted to do this thing with Game Freak, with Pokemon. They wanted to make a game that was half Fire Emblem, half Pokemon. And they couldn't get Pokemon to do it because they had already noticed that Pokemon had collaborated and made Pokemon Conquest. So Game Freak had made that game, and they were like, okay, well, collaborating with Game Freak is not going to be a thing. So what they did was they reached out to their number 2 pick. And the number 2 pick was Atlas. And you know what they did with Atlas? They didn't collaborate with Atlas. They didn't say, hey, Atlas, we want a game. Let's try to combine our two franchises in a meaningful way. Instead, they condescendingly dictated to Atlas. They told Atlas what to do. They said, hey, Atlas, we don't want you to do a thing that's an SRPG. They literally told the people who made Devil Survivor, because that's the people who were involved in Tokyo Mirage Sessions. The same people who made Devil Survivor. They told them, you do not make SRPGs very well. Stick to the things that Atlas is known for. And at the time, what is that other than mainline Nocturne, or mainline Megaten, and Persona? It makes me furious that Intelligent Systems decided to say to Atlas that they couldn't design SRPGs, even though they've made a bunch of very competent SRPGs in their time. And it's pretty BS, and it's not really that important, but it matters to me. Yes, they told the SRPG people not... I don't care what... Oh yeah, sorry. I don't care what their names are. Intelligent Systems, Nintendo, whatever. They suck because they, instead of collaborating and making a true collaboration, it's mostly their fault that this game turned out the way it did. And Atlas did what they thought they can do, which is a very, very superficial critique of the J-pop idol scene. It's pretty stupid. It's very dumb. And as a result, there's a lot less SMT in this game than there could possibly have been. And there's a lot less Fire Emblem in this game. Some of the stuff is super superficial. It's mostly mechanically a Megaten game. But in terms of the tone, the narrative itself, the design of the characters, because Toei 8 did the designs. Toei 8 is not a bad character designer. But when he talks about his designs, it greatly diminishes the quality of the work. What I mean by that is he literally says stuff like, I had a lot of trouble deciding if the protagonist was gonna have glasses or not. What a stupid thing to say, because people are critiquing the designs at it, like, very critically. So saying, like, so when you talk about your big design, like, your big design qualm is deciding whether or not this character has glasses, makes it look pretty dumb. I strongly disagree that this game is anything like Persona. If only it's superficially like Persona. The UI is literally like a prototype for Persona 5's UI. It's very slick, in my opinion, and under talked about. They also discussed bust size. Yeah, they weren't sure how big her chest should be. So that's pretty dumb too. It really diminishes the quality or the perception, in my opinion, when you hear conversations like that. This game is like a thing that's neither for like the traditional Megaten fan, nor is it a game for fans of Fire Emblem. They failed on both fronts because they refused to make a game that was an actual collaboration of the two things. I thought that mechanically the game was fine. The dungeon design was okay. The art was okay. The music was very good, but I didn't like the music because I don't like J-pop. The story is just okay. It just fails to be anything spectacular, but I would never say that it's mid because it's still better than some other games. I have to put it in D. Unfortunately, it just doesn't live up to what it could have been, but I do not blame Atlus for that. I blame Intelligent Systems, Nintendo, whatever. Thank you, Rawler, for the follow. It's just one of those things. I think that the hate for for Tokyo Mirage Sessions is very overblown, but I just cannot ever say that it's a great game. It's just good or okay at best. Okay. I know, that's crazy. 81 viewers for this. It is a pretty big downgrade, but it's because I recently, or by the time, from 2019 to now, I played Fire Emblem, I played Tokyo Mirage Sessions again on Switch, and I just kind of reevaluated it. Last Bible 1. Confusing story, okay music, characters that are not very well fleshed out or anything, gameplay that can be pretty grueling and boring at times. Sorry, it's gotta go in mid. It's not that good. Revelations the Demon Slayer is the Western adaptation, but they just don't really fix it that much. Like, and they don't do anything that ruins it that much, because the story is really gibberish either way. So it stays mid, you know? You guys want to know my previous rankings? I'm going to review it at the end so you guys can see, but I have it right here, and we'll look at it after, alright? Devil Summoner 2, Raito versus King Abaddon. I love this story. Very compelling story, introduces some Nocturne-esque elements with the introduction of Lucifer. I love that Lucifer's here testing humanity again. I love the H.P. Lovecraftian stuff that's present in this game. I love the deep Japanese lore in this game. And Don Tsukigata is well fleshed out. Every character they introduce in this game is well fleshed out. I love the cast. Very good. We learned so much more about Tei Takemi and what's his name? And Narumi than we did in the first game, and it works. It's really important that we see stuff like that. I think the biggest detriment is I hate that at the end of each chapter it's the slow grind of repeating everything from that chapter. In case you forgot. Raito 2 Plus is right here. It's an A. So I just, the problems with this is that I actually think that the gameplay mechanics are smoother in this game, but they're still bad. They're not that fun. And that can't save it. And I don't like the music in Raito. Sorry. The cinematics are superb. I love the cinematics in this game. That's some of the most emotional scenes. One of the best being one of the ending scenes with Don Tsukigata that just makes you go like, ouch, my feels. I gotta give this one an A tier. I love everything about it except the weird explaining all the exposition at the end of each chapter. In case you forgot, the gameplay not really being that much better than Raito 1. It's better, but it's still not that good. And I don't really care for the character Raito. I've never cared for him. But the extraneous cast, everyone outside of Raito, is so compelling. The fact that there's this random Yakuza who's always in the stupid who's always in that sauna, that character is more interesting than almost any character in Persona 5. That's pretty sad, you know? Shogo Isegai is the one that wrote this and Raito 1, and I think it shows he tends to have a really good grasp on making characters that feel more complex, kind of like revealing more about the characters over time than other games traditionally do. And it's really good. I like this game a lot. I wish more people played it. Unfortunately, it's really expensive. Here's hoping we get Raito HD Remaster. I actually kind of hope they do that, to be honest. Persona 1, this is the one with Black Mark, Revelations Persona. The big detriments to the game being it doesn't have the Snow Queen quest. That's pretty bad, pretty cringe. It has the original music though, and there's not really anything too crazy about it besides the bizarre localization. They tried to remove as much of the original Japanese setting as possible. I don't want the gameplay to be updated, no. I'd rather just have it be exactly as it is, just ported, and maybe they can touch up on the graphics, I guess. I don't want them to change anything because I don't trust them to do it in a way that's not going to make it super simple. I love this game. I don't really mind not being able to play Snow Queen. I think that's the only real mark against it. So I'm going to put that in B. It's also inaccessible largely unless you have a PlayStation Mini or Classic or whatever it's called. It's the biggest detriment, but aside from that, that's pretty much it. And how you doing, Warning Don't Read? Long time no see. Warning Don't See. Alright. Devil Children Black and Red Book. This is the combination of the two. It's enhanced. I don't remember off the top of my head why they changed things or what they fixed necessarily. So I can't even really rate this. But because there's no actual Red Book on here, I'll just think I'm just gonna use this as a replacement for Red Book. Red Book has one of the most compelling female protagonists, and I just don't really know. Like I don't really think that I don't really understand why Mirai is one of the best female protagonists despite being in a children's game. I'm gonna put it in the same tier as Black Book, so consider this my Red Book analogous because there's not really a Red Book there. Alright. Persona 5 Arena Ultimax. Dude, this is a very competent fighting game. I actually prefer the first Arena for fighting, but this one introduces characters that I like playing as, so it's kind of like a mixed bag. So I like this game. Solid gameplay. Good, unique cast. And the story actually isn't bad. Very competent game. It's at least a B for me. I actually don't care for the story as much in Arena, but I do like the gameplay more. But since the story is more important, I have to rate it a little lower. It's because this is overall a better game because it introduces a better roster of characters, and I really appreciate that. These are very good games. These are examples of good collaborations because they actually fully utilize the skill set of the people. One game that's not on this list, but I can rate theoretically, is Persona 5 Strikers, which is an example, like TMS, of a bad collaboration. With TMS, Atlus was dictated to, and their creative ideas were stifled. With Strikers, it's very much the same thing. We don't get to see what Omega Force would have done if they had more creative control, because Atlus had this stranglehold on what they wanted for Persona 5, and you were not allowed to do anything other than what they thought you should be doing. It's why Persona 5 Strikers retreads so many story plot points. It's why Persona 5 Strikers has basically the characters being reduced back to how they were in the beginning of Persona 5. It's a big detriment to the way I feel about the game is how there's no real evolution. I would actually put Persona 5 Strikers down here in either F or mid. It's mid at best. Okay, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children Messiah Riser. This is an SRPG. It's very interesting. The story is not very good because it still features the stories of Jin and Akira. This is about the strongest gun summoning thing of all time called the Messiah Riser. In Devil Children, they summon demons using this thing called the Devil Riser or Devilizer. it's just like the gun they use to summon. It doesn't really mean anything. I love the gameplay, but I don't like the story. So I gotta put this in like C. Okay. So the question is, why is Persona Q up here and this is down here? Persona Q, although it's fan service, I enjoy the story and I enjoy the gameplay a lot more than the gameplay in here. So if we're comparing these like on those surfaces, Persona 3 has a very good cast and the story evolves over time. It has horrible social links. It has terrible gameplay in my opinion, and the music is not that good. Persona Q remixes some of the music and it's actually solid. It's all fan service, so there isn't a whole lot of evolution, but that's part of the point. The gameplay is significantly more enjoyable for me than it is in Persona 3. And it's all the cast just being a very simplified version of themselves. Whether or not that's good or bad is kind of just up to you. I like Persona 3 more for the sum of its parts than Persona Q, or 3. Sorry, Q more than 3. Alright. Last Bible Special is like the SMT Last Bible, really. It's not crazy good. It's not crazy bad. It is crazy mid. Alright. Let's go with something else that's a little spicier. Yeah, it's kind of replaying on my playlist. This is the Synchronicity Prologue song, yes. Thank you for the hydrate. I will now be drinking organic coconut water. I love coconut water. I drink it all the time. It's good. Everyone should have coconut water in their lives. Alright. Let's go with the spicy take. This is Eternal Punishment. I love the cast of Eternal Punishment more than most casts in Mega 10 games. Eternal Punishment introduces characters in ways that introduces depths of characters that we don't really see in most Mega 10 games. Outside of maybe Persona 3 or maybe Catherine, there's not really a whole lot of games that have these like characters that feel more like people than cartoon or video game characters. I think that it's a very huge plus for it. Where it falls off is the gameplay is kind of bad. It's kind of boring in my opinion. The gameplay is something that you have to stomach. And I feel like that if you're playing a video game, you should never feel like you're suffering through it in order to get to the story. It should work in tandem. You should enjoy the story and the gameplay for what it is, rather than go, ugh, you know? So I gotta rate this kind of like in the middle. It's not as good as some of the other ones because the gameplay is so bad. It's not, well, I guess not bad. It's so mediocre. It doesn't feel as good. The gameplay in Persona 1 is significantly better for me. This one feels overlong in terms of that, but the story and the characters are super compelling. I think it's one of those things that everyone should experience at least once. I'm gonna put this over here too because it's just the same thing. Oh, I guess the difference is that in the PSP version there's the added scenario, which is interesting. I prefer the I prefer Persona 1's gameplay over Persona 2's. It's more fast paced. There's it's just, well, that's basically it. It's just fast paced. Okay. Now let's do Innocent Sin. It's no surprise to some of you that I don't really care for Innocent Sin as much as I do Eternal Punishment. The cast is solid, but they're not nearly as impactful as the cast in Eternal Punishment. It could be because I'm older now, and most of the cast in Eternal Punishment are about my age, so I could relate to them. A lot of the problems in here, a lot of the characters in Innocent Sin are not as well developed, with exception to characters like Lisa and Ikichi, who are super solid characters. And I hate that people never talk about how well written Lisa and Ikichi are. They're very well written characters. They're very interesting. They have such depth. They have these huge character arcs where they change drastically. And I think that it's really bad. It's really a big shame that people only focus on Jun and Tatsuya and their potential relationship. Because within the context of Innocent Sin, you could potentially date a couple of characters, amongst them being Jun. And I think it's pretty bad that that's what people fixate on. It really hurts the game because the game is way more than just a potential use of dating Jun. And it's way more than just the one homosexual character. I think that it's just kind of cringe that people focus on it, and it really does bother me because I want to see people talk about Innocent Sin and talk about how great Lisa is, how interesting the story is, the themes of the game, not just go, haha, I can date guy. So it's like a little less for me than Eternal Punishment. That last criticism isn't really something that's weighing into my decision. It's just something that I wanted to point out. And these two games are basically the same. There's a little bit of more to the PSP version, but it's not enough to really influence the decision. All right, I'm gonna put this other Devil Summoner over here too. Hey, look, it's a Persona Q song. Like a dream come true. All right, Majin Tensei 2. Majin Tensei 2 SRPG, interesting story. I like the story in Majin Tensei. It's one of those like cheesy sci-fi future timeline BS stories, but I enjoy it. The problem is the gameplay is kind of boring. It's so long. By the time you get to the halfway point of the games, either game, you will spend so much time watching the enemy turns that you'll sometimes forget what you're doing unless you speed it up. It's so overlong. I hate the speed of the game. It drags down the game so much for me because of that. The gameplay being so mediocre that I have to rate it lower than I did before. The music is amazing. The art is amazing. The story is amazing. The gameplay is terrible for me. I have to, like, on a reevaluation, it's pretty low. And in saying that, Majin Tensei 1 is about the same. I like that it has hidden character mechanics. There's a in Majin Tensei 1 you can recruit a character, but if you do something special, you can recruit 2 characters. It plays with the multiple endings in an interesting way, but God, the gameplay is so unbearable. Like, I actually will never play these games again. That's how much I feel about how strongly I feel about the gameplay. Okay, trading card game Card Summoner. This is a game that's been erroneously considered a Devil Children game. It's not. It has nothing to do with Devil Children. It's literally just a Shin Megami Tensei game adapting the card game so you can play it. So you can play a simplified version of it in video game form. It has an okay story. It has okay gameplay. It has multiple endings, and those are kind of interesting, but overall, it's kind of just okay. The biggest thing I like about this game is the art style. I love the art style in this game. I find it to be very good, so I gotta put it like here. It doesn't really have any, it doesn't stand out in any way particularly. It's not like these other ones that have like at least one major flaw that drags it down. The problem with this game is that it's just okay across the board. And Devil Survivor 1. This is the vanilla version before they added the new content of the 8th day. I love Devil Survivor 1. I love the story. I love the cast. I love the gameplay. I love all of the references to previous Megaton titles. B tier for sure. Now, Overclocked enhances the game by the 8th day. I actually quite like the 8th day content. I'm gonna put that in A tier. I like the music. It's something that people have said that they don't like before, but I like the music. I like the story. I love the characters. Yes, it's good. There's like really nothing to say. There's really nothing to say. It's just a good game. Last Bible 2, it's a better game than Last Bible 1. Better story, better mechanics. Good game, highly recommend you play it. And 3 is about the same as 2. I don't really have much to say about these two games. I enjoyed them significantly more than these games. And significantly more than Another Bible. Shin Megami Tensei 2 is one of those games that it's kind of a mixed bag where I really like the story. I really like the characters. I really like the setting. I love the music. The gameplay for me is just okay. It's a little easy. I'm gonna have to put this one in C tier. No, I'll put it in B. The music playing right now is actually Ueno Field from Shin Megami Tensei Imagine. And the song playing now is Transvestite from Shin Megami Tensei Soul Hackers. Alright. Alright. Megami Tensei 2. Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei 2. I don't know. Simply Dad questioned me about my love for the protagonist. And I just can't actually really justify why I like him. I just kind of do. And it's not really a good way to criticize because, to be honest, he's kind of a nothing character. He has a little bit more of a character traits. He has more character than most other protagonists. But not by much. It's literally like a slight change. In saying that, this gameplay is, to me, it's better than Megami Tensei 1's gameplay. The music is also good, yes. It's got that Masako rock. So I gotta put this one in C tier. It's definitely better. C tier, just above this game. These don't really. This is not really like a hard and fast ranking from worst to best or anything. It's just these two are about the same, but I would actually say that 2 is better. And I don't like Kyoyaku Megami Tensei as much as the originals. So bam, it goes down here. The reason being is that, like, you know, it tries to fix things. And I think that it doesn't quite fix anything. The idea of carrying stuff over is interesting, but it's not enough to justify its existence, in my opinion. This is part of the plague. This is the first of the this is the first of the whole like enhanced port thing that I kind of hate. Wow, PQ over both DDS, instant, yeah. People are gonna hate this. I'm gonna put this down here so people won't complain. Alright, Shin Megami Tensei 1. Great game, iconic game, good game. Not as good as 2, so it goes down here. If. Boy howdy, dude. If is one of those games that is so bizarre. When I first played If, I did not play Akira's route. And I literally didn't know that Akira's route is probably the only route that you should play in the game. Which is unfortunate because you gotta beat the game to play it. Akira's route is interesting. The gameplay is fun. The story is not that bad because there's actually a story, unlike the original base game, which doesn't really have a story. So in playing that, I think I have to reevaluate the way I feel about it. But literally, you have to beat the game to experience the fun part of the game. So it's got to go in D. It cannot be that good if my favorite part of the game, the part that I would recommend, is Trapped. Like, there's so many reasons why If is bad. It's basically mostly a recycled game. Although it's a school setting, and we don't really get any characterization really. Charlie is guy who wants to escape. Yumi is girl who wants to help. Reiko is girl who wants to help too. Akira is guy who wants to stir up trouble because he's bad. Like, there's literally nothing truly inspiring about If. It's just interesting. Alright, Apocalypse. No, actually, let's go with 4. 4 is one of those games that I used to hate. When I first played it, I didn't like it. When I played it again, I kind of liked it. Now that I've been playing it recently, I kind of love it. It has some of the best character writing outside of the main characters. I will never agree to Walter and Jonathan being well written because they're not. They're very simplistic in my opinion. How did I dislike 4? It's because I loved Kaneko. Kaneko is my favorite video game artist, and he's one of my favorite artists of all time. Knowing that Kaneko did not draw the human characters, knowing that Kaneko didn't really write the story is built off of a script that Kaneko wrote. The story is built off a script that Kaneko wrote. It has almost no Kaneko involvement. It's so narratively, it struggles because Kaneko has a lot of interesting ideas and interesting concepts about They made most of the characters flat. I mean, I would agree, but if you literally talk to the NPCs, if you do the optional quests, you learn a lot about characters. That's why I say that Navarre from SMT4 is the best version of Navarre, because when you do his full story, it's actually significantly more interesting than anything to do with Ghost Navarre. So, in saying that, I heavily disagree with that idea. The NPCs are great, the mains are eh. Exactly, Mace. That's how I feel. The gameplay is good, but it's easy to break. Super, super easy to break. After Naruku, you'll never struggle in the game again. I never really agreed with its bare minimal. I mean, I agree to disagree, because it's the same level of care they put into Alex's story in A Strange Journey, where it's like it's just a couple of extras like script things, and that's it. But I like it because it significantly gives that character a full arc instead of him just disappearing off the planet. I think it's worth experiencing. The rest of the, like, you have to think about it not in terms of how much am I getting out of the story, with how much story is being told. SMT4 has so much side quests, so much added NPC dialogue that enhances the world to make it feel more lived in, that it's kind of cheap to go, well, Navarre's story is not that deep, so it's kind of minimal, you know? So, in saying all of that, I'm super conflicted about this game. I want to love it, but I just can't love it more than like Soul Hackers or Persona 1 or any of these. So it's got to be down here in C tier, to be honest. It cannot be above these games, because I love these games a lot more than I love this game, but I love this game way more than I love these games. All right. Yeah, breaking 4 is a lot more fun than it is than breaking 5 Royal, because in 5 Royal you don't have to try to break the game. The game breaks itself for you. All right. You wouldn't have put 3 above 4? Well, here's the thing. This story is more interesting. The characters are actually characters, but the NPCs and the social links suck. This has a central cast where the cast is pretty nothing, but the world is full. So they're kind of the same. They're like just inverted. This gameplay is good. This gameplay is bad. This story is better to me than this story. You know? Alright. SMT4 Apocalypse. This is the one that people say fixes the gameplay of 4. I do not agree with that. It just makes it a little easier. SMT4 Apocalypse is just like the easier 4. It is not improved. It's the same thing as the skill selection thing, where it just makes it easier to make it fast and beat the game quicker. It is not good. I hate the companion system or whatever. It's pretty whatever. 4 is already easy. 4 Apocalypse is even easier. I've heard a lot of people say that the gameplay is improved in 4 Apocalypse. This game has interesting ideas, but 1,000,000% underutilized. Every single protagonist or every single playable character in 4 Apocalypse is bad. I don't like a single one of them. The only one that I almost liked was Hallelujah, because Hallelujah starts off interesting, but then they never do anything afterwards. He stays kind of like the same. And at the very, very, very end, he has this big old change where you're like, wow, that's kind of interesting. So I gotta put this in D. No, actually, I'm put it a little lower. It's mid. Navarre Doris, that stupid dungeon toward the end that extends the gameplay for no reason. It's not a good dungeon. It reminds me of Womb of Grief because it's just repetitive and it just extends the gameplay, the length of time you play, rather than engage the player in playing the game. Pretty bad. I don't know why they did that. Last game, Persona 4 Golden. Persona 4 Golden is the enhanced remake or port or whatever of Persona 4. It adds a new dungeon, it adds a new character, it adds some new social links, and overall it's supposed to be the quote-unquote enhanced definitive way to play. Filthy says the final dungeon is the only good dungeon in Apocalypse. Okay, agree to disagree. Ugh. But yeah, for Apocalypse is a waste of time, but I still want people to experience it because, again, you should experience all the games if you're interested in them. Play any game you're interested in playing because that's the way you're gonna get a full opinion. You know what I mean? But yeah, Persona 4 Golden. Persona 4 Golden's a mixed bag because it doesn't fix any of the problems I had with Persona 4. It just adds things to Persona 4. And I just don't think that any of the additions are particularly meaningful. Persona 4 is one of the games that makes a really hard parallel with SMT, with Megami Tensei, the literally Digital Devil story, where it talks about like what do you call it? It talks about Izanagi and Izanami, and it has like this big overarching narrative about that. But it doesn't really ever talk about it in a meaningful way. It's super superficial, and is just patterned exactly after 3. So to me, it's just 3 but worse. And I like the music in 4, and I like the additional songs in 4 Golden, but that's not enough to save it from being mid, dude. I would play this game again. I probably won't play this game anymore. I have it on Steam, so actually that's a lie. I'll definitely play it. But I can't really recommend this over this. The only reason why I would recommend it is because you can actually buy this on Steam. It's the only saving grace. And yes, we have no time for Strange Journey yet again. Strange Journey next week, because I have gone over my 2 hours of whatever. Overall, this is my list. I'm going to go ahead and reevaluate Desu 2. And I'm just going to say they're mid because I literally don't remember. And they must have been mid. Thank you, Meat of Justice, for the follow. Alright. Before I leave, Phil, you redeemed a draw stream. What Megaten character, demon, or persona do you want me to draw? Literally, you can only ask for a character, demon, or persona, and the rest is up to me. You've kind of seen the catalog of things that I've done so far. It's a respectable tier list, but to be honest, people are still gonna get super duper mad because they're not gonna watch. They're not gonna pay attention. They're just gonna look at the tier list, go, me favorite game in hate tier. Duh. All right, wanting to read. That's good. That's fine. So this coming Saturday, I am not playing Strange Journey. This Saturday, I'm literally just drawing Yukari in watercolor on stream. It's a draw stream. If you guys are curious, if you want to see the drawing, go ahead and do. Otherwise, yeah, smell you later, nerds, you little Persona fans, you Strange Journey Redux apologists. So yeah, bye everybody. I will see you guys next week, or this weekend rather. Have a good everything. Before I go, I want to see if Nyarl or Filthy is streaming. So don't leave yet. Don't click off the stream yet, because we might go raid Filthy. All right, let's see. Filthy's live, and he's playing Taiko Master. So we're gonna go raid him. And I want everyone who joins the raid. You need to tell Filthy Apocalypse's final dungeon is terrible. All right, that's if you're joining the raid. That's what you gotta say. All right, let's go.